Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
There are three things certain in life: death, taxes, and using heavy Russian warships. Guys, the chicken is here, back to the end of the Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we're going to do a little bit of a primer on heavy rush, how to use it, when to use it, why to use it, all the above. I also asked ChatGPT how to use heavies, which I've got pulled up here, which is it's interesting. So we're going to go over that as well. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and big shout out to you that have been using that code chicken in the shop. So here's where we're at, guys. We're right in the heavy rush kind of meta at 3 engines. So I felt like this would be a good time to just sit back and go over, how to actually do heavy rush, why it's, different things that you can do. Now, obviously, if you don't have flares, all you're really doing is split dropping, right? So we're going to go over it with flares and with everything else. So obviously, before we even use heavy rush, make sure that your heavies are maxed out. That seems like an obvious thing, but heavies going from, level 3 in warships to level 5 being maxed out makes an absolute massive difference. Like, you really can't even use heavy choppers to their full benefit without having the maxed out heavies, right? Because heavy choppers drop out heavies. They make a huge difference being maxed out. So, honestly, I would not even use them if they're not at at least max level in warships. So, make sure that you upgrade them. Now, heavy rush, it's all about the base. It's all about the base. So let's do one right here. So you have to take what the base is giving you, right? So what are going to be the biggest problems that heavy rush is going to run into? Number one is going to be mines. Boom mines, especially shock mines, are even worse. You can see this base has shock mines and regular mines kind of scattered throughout. So the thing with heavies is they're not going to do a ton of damage, and we can't necessarily flare them through all these shock mines. So sometimes your best bet is to clump them all together just like so, and just let them free clear. Free clearing allows you to do a couple things. It slows down the fire rate of the defenses because they're not there anymore. It allows you to hit shock mines without having them all hit shock mines if you're bunching them up. So you can actually you kind of need to do a bit of a combo with it. But you can get better times just simply doing it like this, opposed to just trying to let them run. Because what you don't want to have happen in any sort of heavy rush strategy is to have them fizzle. So a way to avoid that is to do what we're doing right here, right now, and just make them free clear stuff. Now, as soon as we're at the point where we don't need to free clear anymore, stop free clearing, because it takes them a very long time to get up and around and get to that next spot. Heavies do move at a fairly quick pace, but like we said, they don't do a lot of damage, right? So, I mean, they'll get hung up on everything. They'll get hung up on every single defense that they can. So, now, obviously, we're going to lose this one because I didn't use brick and we're a little bit out-teched. But yeah, so that's the idea on some of these bases, guys, is, sometimes you're better off to free clear and wrap them around stuff. Sometimes you're better off just to go for it, and sometimes it depends on, what other defenses they have or whatever. So, yeah. So, when you're ready to attack, deploying all your heavies at a safe location, preferably far from high damage defenses. Heavies have a high health and can absorb a lot of damage. They're primarily a shield for the other troops. That's how they're used in the main base, but just making sure that you're not, they're not in range of shock launchers. Flamethrowers are bad for heavies, and that's pretty well it. So this time we'll use heavies with brick as well. Now, what you can do on drops like this, which I didn't do right there, is delay one boat. So throw one boat of heavies in quickly, and then wait 1, 2, 3 seconds for the next boat. So it just allows you to not run into that problem where a bunch of them hit that shock mine. This way you can have 1 or 2 of them hit it, and it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't slow down your whole attack nearly as much. Now, in terms of gunboat abilities, what's best for heavy rush is, everything. Typically, we're using heavy rush without any gunboat abilities, right? So things that'll help heavy rush are obviously shock bombs, critters, anything that'll stop or distract defenses and allow you to just punch in to the engine room really quickly. We don't typically have those at our disposal, right? I mean, we're lucky to have flares early on, if we do even have that. But yeah, things that help heavy rush, brick with battle orders is huge. as you can see here, like what a difference this makes. You know, med kits aren't really something you want to be using on your heavy rush attacks. Typically, only when you don't have, like in that situation right there. If I don't have enough GB from the battle orders, there's no need to flare again. Sure, throw down a couple med kits, but you don't need to be throwing down med kits on them every now and then. Using flares is the biggest thing. So we'll go over that next once this attack is done. You have to time your flares to get competitive and to be good with heavy rush. You have to time your flares in advance. This goes for all troops and warships. So here, we'll do this one properly. We'll drop one boat of heavies. We'll wait, I don't know, 2-3 seconds. Drop the rest of them. And then we're going to, as soon as they get close to those flags, we're going to flare them up this way. Because you'll see sometimes they get close to the flag, then they'll walk away. And you see right there, that shock mine ended up hitting 2 troops, right? So that's what we want to try to do if we can. So on this base, what we want to make sure that we do, since we're just rushing through it, he doesn't have a lot of mines, we're just going flare, 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 right? So how do we want to do that? We want to make sure as that engine's going down, the next one's already in the air on the way over. You don't want to take the engine down and then flare. Right? You have to be able to predict it. So it's almost done. Let's go like this right now, and boom. No time wasted. We're already on the next engine. So just little things like that make a huge difference, right? Because a lot of these attacks come down to 2, 3, 4 seconds. So that's how you can get those seconds back. Make your flare snappy. Let them, depending on the level of your flare, maybe let them get as close to the flag as possible and then flare them before they start going on their own path so they don't have to start, and switch over. Yeah, the best hero to use with Heavy Rush, you can use a bunch of different ones. Kavan's probably the least useful. Even with Ice Shield, it's just Battle Orders or Iron Will is typically what you want. If you're using Iron Will with Heavy Rush, then you're probably not, doing it in the best way, but Heavy Rush pairs with Battle Orders really well. It pairs with Bullet pretty well too, if you can use Taunt, and Bullet lasts forever, and he can distract some defenses. And he can pull the splash damage off the heavies with the Taunt, right? So that could be really nice. But yeah, timing is crucial. Timing is everything. Paying attention to the timing of your attacks, coordinating your troop movements and abilities to maximize their effectiveness. For example, shock bombs and smoke screens at the right time to neutralize defenses while your heavies and other troops deal damage. So kind of obvious stuff, but it does make a difference ranking up there. Yeah, so I mean every base is different, so you may need to adapt your strategy based on the layout and defenses you encounter, and you got to be prepared to just simply adjust how you're dropping, when you're dropping, that kind of thing, in order just to take the base down as well as you can. So we'll do a couple more hits. Let's backside our troop damage. And what do we need here next? Do we have any? We could go Zukas. I think we'll go Critters. Oh, we actually have enough for building damage. That's good. That is good. Don't have flamethrowers yet, though, eh? They're around the corner. So I think what I'll do here is let's upgrade battle orders. Yeah, let's get the max battle orders. And then we'll put a tick into GBE. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that, I think. So we're going a little bit offensive here. We want to get the most of the battle order. So yeah, the main takeaways are, you have to take what the base is giving you. So on this base, for example, there's less defenses on the right, but there's more mines. So it's kind of a toss-up. There's also that boom surprise right there. But now that we have critters, that right side doesn't look so scary, does it? So we can go 1, 2, 3. I like to draw Brick if I'm using her kind of in the middle. I find that just does a better job of keeping her surrounded with heavies, because the last thing that you want during a heavy rush attack is for Brick to go down before you even have the chance of using her, right? So if we can do that, and okay, I let my flare run out. Whoops. All right, so let's use the battle orders here just to get everybody out of these defenses onto this engine room. Brick's in a really good spot. Yeah, so we're gonna go like this, and we're gonna move over here. Sometimes it's okay to take down a defense or two on the way, especially if you need extra GBE. Like right now, I have no GBE because I don't have enough to flare, or I don't have enough GBE to send my extra flare in advance, right? Like we just talked about. So sometimes getting to that engine, taking down a sniper tower or a cannon, especially when there's not a lot of other defenses around, is not a terrible idea. You know, you can save a few seconds doing that opposed to, doing what I just did there and being stuck in the middle for a 1, 2, 3 while we try to throw that flare. Costs you time, costs you heavies, and then it costs you time on the next one because you're a little bit slower getting to it, right? So, still able to come away with the dub there in rank 9. Very cool. So yeah, there's your Heavy Rush primer, guys, at the end of the season. But I think this will be, applicable to every Warship season, hopefully. So yeah, if you guys and some of you other Warship vets, let me know in the comments what some of your Heavy Rush tips and tricks are. If I missed anything, if there's anything you agree with or don't or disagree with, let me know that down below in the comments. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. Catch the next one, guys. Check it out. Back.